So boom, imagine The Purge, but instead of it being a political thriller slasher film, it is just top tier racist rage bait where every white dude in the film is a Dollar Tree Nazi and every brown person is given an Oscar winning speech about immigration in the middle of a Spike TV quality shootout. Yup, that's the fifth and final installment of the Purge franchise, the Forever Purge, or as I'd like to call it, we're running out of original ideas, so put a brown person in the franchise and diversify. And dog, it is so trash and on the nose. Who wrote these corny ass lines?
You kill the brownies.
This is the first real purge. Little meaner. Ain't worth.
And I'm not even hating on it simply because it's got brownies in it. Hell, I'm one of them, and sometimes putting brownies in a franchise might make it a whole lot better. Paranormal Activity versus Cholos will always be goated. Go check that video review after if you haven't. But in this case, everything in the film is so corny. The guns, the action, the in-your-face forced racism. Like no single aspect of this movie works at all. Not even the horror elements. I don't care how many jump scares, the movie fails at it. The Forever Purge somehow managed to be racist, cringe, preachy, and boring all at the same time. But I bet no matter how bad you thought it was, I can prove that it was a whole lot worse. The film starts off with the two main characters, Juan and Adelena, going through some El Chapo-like tunnels to smuggle themselves into the US. And right off the bat, we got one of those annoying ass, a character appears out of nowhere, jump scare. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of those in this film, but now they're crossing over to the US and hold up, that boy's audio isn't even syncing up with his lips. Look at that.
Sigue las rosas. Sigue las rosas.
Anyways, it's movie credit time, and the film doesn't hide the fact that this is from 2021, with racism and white supremacy being the biggest threat to America and whatnot, forced down by some narratives. This is all after Trump's first term, so a lot of the political climate at that time was like, he was one of the worst things, he was super racist and all that. But I honestly really don't think so, because if that's so, well then why is he over here kissing the great United States American-Mexican border wall? Oh wait, no. That's the Great Wall of China. Hold up, why are all of our leaders kissing it too? Damn, America's leaders have been infiltrated by China. It's 10 months later and Juan is working for this wealthy white family, the Tuckers, consisting of flashback John Dutton. Juan is a horse whisperer of some sorts, a poorer version of Cesar Millan. Adelena is working as a butcher shop, and the two are both somewhat living the American dream. But you know who really is living the American dream? The Tucker family, since they're having a nice-ass neighborly dinner in their nice-ass property. But Dylan is a bit triggered at Mexicans and the neighbor's Mexican nanny since she's teaching the neighbor's kids Spanish, and some tensions arise from this. It's the next day and 10 hours before the Purge, and Dylan's trying to press Juan for one-upping him at the beginning of the movie with a horsey since he's a horse whisperer. But Dylan's dad and the owner of the ranch, Caleb, talks with Juan a bit and throws in some social commentary. The Purge is getting close and Juan and Adelena are gonna post up with this group of other illegal / low class people that split the cost to hire this private security at a guarded location. The Purge starts, and let me tell you, it looks like one of those cheesy ass backstory videos that you'll see while you're waiting in line to get in a ride at like Universal Studios or Six Flags, because yeah, those are definitely painted plywood walls to make them look like they're bricks.
This is not a test. This is your.
You know what's crazier than all crime being legal for 12 hours though? Leaving all of your online information unprotected for the rest of the 12 hours and 364 days in the year. Luckily for you, this video is sponsored by Aura. Do you know what's worse than unnecessary jump scares? How about the fact that banks on average take around 277 days to report a data breach, which includes a lot of your personal online info. Banks such as Bank of America, JP Morgan, Chase, and a lot of others are negligently giving hackers, scammers, criminals, and identity thieves a 9-month head start before they even find out that there's been a data breach. Imagine how much of your life can change, and probably for worse, if a purge-like event actually happened and you weren't prepared for it and someone stole all of your online assets. As I was saying, Aura monitors and scrubs the deep dark webs, along with alerting me right away if any of my email, social security number, passwords, or online info was found on any of these deep dark web sites. Not only that, they also have parental controls, VPNs, password management, and $5 million in identity theft insurance if worst case scenario. So don't wait 277 days after your info might be leaked, ruining your credit score, your life, and so much more. Find out today and get Aura completely free for 14 days with my special link, or scan the QR code above. So again, thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video, and go ahead and get yourself protected. Juan and Adelena's first purge goes secure but a bit eye-opening, as these forever purgers militia groups are getting a bit excessive. All the while, the Tucker's family purge night is going relaxing and chill, since they got all that money to secure up in their nice ass property, which makes them exempt from this conflict. So it's all going okay, besides an unnecessary ass jump scare. The purge is over now and everyone continues with their daily life schedule. Adelena is going back to work at her butcher shop when she comes across this obvious ass trap in a back alley, and she's actually goofy enough to fall for this obvious ass trap a day after the purge. Like, for reals, what if this was an abandoned and forgotten IED trap left over from purge night? She gets ambushed and is in confusion because the purge is supposedly supposed to be over, right? Well, no. This is the forever purge. Her boss hears her struggling, so he immediately moves in to help her, and despite being ambushed by a militia group, since he's the good guy, you already know that they're gonna win the situation, which they do. He frees her, but the popo shows up and her boss gets booked, since his crime was walking while black in this racist America. Just kidding, the police arrest the both of them because they think they're doing all this killing after the purge night. At the same time, on their way to work,
I'm calling Trump on you, you illegal mother.
Ah, come on, fool.
Juan and his friend TT, pull up to the Tucker's property, but something is off and is alerting them, since another white coworker for the Tuckers adopts the whole family to rub the forever purge power fantasy in their faces before ending them. This is also met with another systemic lecture by Caleb. Damn, this movie really is not subtle. While doing that, this gives Juan and Chi-Chi's enough time to get some more firepower. They, for some reason, wait up until the moment the bad guys blast Caleb, and he deadass gets blasted in the head and is still conscious for like 5 seconds after. Juan and TT ambush the forever purgers, and damn, that fool really is spice out. Look at the way his feet are moving. They save the rest of the Tucker family and flee, since these forever purgers called in for some reinforcements. While fleeing, Juan gets a phone call from one of Adelena's friends, since she witnessed Adelena being taken by the popo. So now Juan's gotta go head to her location and try to save Adelena, since she's in custody with Dollar Tree racist and crackhead McGee. This whole custody scene got me cringing all over, like, since the bad guys are so cheesy.
That is American music, mother.
You and I both know that's not the name that he would have actually called them, but the movie wasn't ballsy enough to use the actual word. Once arriving near Adelena's location, Juan and TT head out, and Dylan's sister also wants to come and help. So she does, while Dylan and his pregnant wife hold out on the semi-truck. And what follows is another cheap jump scare, a shitty fight scene, and even worse gunplay. Bro, she didn't even rack the shotgun, and it still made a generic ass shotgun sound effect. The crew saves Adelena, and now they head off with the Tucker family in their semi, and Adelena's black boss also decides to go back and save his family, but you already know, homeboy just want to go get some milk, wink wink. While on the road, the crew stops to fuel up, and it's prologue time, where the news is basically stating that America is under siege by the forever purgers, and the only safe place is Mexico and Canada, since the Mexican president and Canadian prime minister are ironically letting their borders open for Americans fleeing for safety. But it's not really safe there anymore, since Mexico and Canada have also been infiltrated by the Chinese. Here's another part of the story which doesn't kind of make sense. Juan and Adelena were previously ex-militia group or something like that along those lines, where they had to flee from Mexico because the cartel had placed a price on their head, but now Mexico is a safe haven and they're only shot of safety for them because one of the biggest threats going on in America right now is racism. But what about the cartel that wanted their heads though? So I don't get how that makes sense. I mean, yeah, it is kind of understandable, you know, I'd rather deal with the situation at hand now and then the whole cartel thing later, but I don't know, it just seems like they're trading violence for violence, but yeah. But they go back on the road on their way to Mexico, and everyone is asleep, so Dylan and Juan have somewhat of a conflict, but also a heart-to-heart. This gets interrupted by a forever purger motorcycle gang. However, they are deceived since Dylan's white sister stole a forever purge flag and tricks the bike crew into thinking that the rest of the semi is a part of their movement. But the biker gang mostly left them alone since Dylan's sister passed the Family Guy skin tone chart, and now the crew gets to the border town of El Paso, where it is a civil war and mayhem between the forever purgers and the US military, or whatever the US military substitute for the Purge franchise is. So now the gang's gotta travel the final few miles by foot through this active war zone. This leads up to the gang splitting up since a tank blasts nearby their location, dividing Adelena and Dylan's pregnant wife from the rest of the crew, so they get moving. But also another jump scare. Also, another one. Next up is some official backstory about how Adelena was part of this female auto defense against the cartels, and her and Juan got ran out of Mexico, but that's why she knows how to handle a gun. But sure she does. But yeah, now with the other group, they all get ganked by these forever purgers crews, and man, the forced dialogue and lines for these people is just so cringe and forced. I mean, they might as well be wearing MAGA hats and carrying a noose, telling the main characters that this is MAGA country now, or whatever big thing that happened in 2016.
Stop doing it, please! This is MAGA country now, nigger!
Like, they literally call them beaners like 5 times in 3 minutes. The forced racism is so bad that this female extremist is gonna shoot Juan, but for no reason. Plot armor does a fake out and shoots TT in the TTs. No, I'm just kidding. She shoots them and kills them. The military conveniently intervenes, and Juan is able to blast the white supremacist lady Mother. So now the main extremist dude is gonna go avenge Mother. All the while, the rest of the crew is able to get away and are able to find the other half of the group, which consisted of Dylan's pregnant wife and Adelena, in this secret Mexican holdup. It's breaking news cliche, and the official US-Mexican border is being closed off because the forever purgers are taking over, and it's more 2020-ish cringe narratives. The plan is now for Juan and Adelena to sneak back into Mexico and the group with the same people who smuggled them from Mexico into America in another secret entry to Mexico with the help of this Native American leader. Unfortunately, they're being chased by the forever purgers, and now a couple of beans in this burrito mobile gotta stay behind, with the exception of Dylan's wife and Dylan's sister, but now they gotta stay behind and fight to give the rest of the people more time to flee. It is wartime, with the exception of one more unsubtle line of dialogue. And look, not one of those damn liberals, but let's just admit, I'm pretty sure this movie was made by a mostly liberal crew. With that being said, you already know the gunplay in this is gonna be complete ass. There's a lot of that good guys shooting without aiming and hitting the bad guys. There's those the gun running dry and it clicking multiple times. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was shells ejecting from whoever was using that revolver. And it's not just the firefights though, it's most of the action. It's pretty short also. The main characters are able to fend off the extremist group, but the main leader takes Adelina, and it's one final confrontation, again with one more forced cheesy line.
Does this translate? Pendejo.
And after that, the crew is finally able to cross back to Mexico with a happily ever after, since the reason Juan and Adelina left Mexico in the first place was because the cartel was after them, but now for some reason the cartel is not. Anyways, Dylan meets up with his pregnant wife who gave birth, so I guess she's not pregnant anymore, but she gave birth to their baby girl in Mexico. So now by default, Dylan's got a Mexican daughter who was born with a bag of hot Cheetos in her hand, and his wife's breast milk slowly converts to horchata.
What?
No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
I'm just kidding. But Dylan is cured of his racism since he speaks the Spanish now. And the movie ends with a wide shot of two sides of the border. One in flames and burning, which ironically is just Mexico on an average day. And the other more calm one where America the day after the Forever Purge, where the riots and all that cooled down. Damn, this movie was really that bad that it killed the Purge franchise. Allegedly. And it's obvious why. The identity politics is so abrasive and in your face, which I wouldn't mind as much if the action and the horror elements were any good, but they are not. Hell, even the set designs just feel super staged and even lower quality than a Universal Studio maze. And that also reminds me, I saw the Purge show at Universal Horror Nights. Shit was like 10 times better than this. That was really an experience. But in regards to this film, nothing in it works. It's not even so bad that it's enjoyable. Only little nuggets of entertainment are just the corny racist and their half-baked insults. Other than that, 4 out of 10 Autolist. Thank you to everyone for watching this video, and thank you to these sick ass foos, and thank you to Aura for sponsoring my video. Until next time, later.